Time now is 10 to 8.
So we're going to have a little bit of nostalgia here. Maybe, sometimes music is the best way into memories, isn't it?
Yeah, or
You
smells.
play something and you think of a time and a place. How about this? So there you go. I was going to wait for the dum-dum then, the original. It's Brookside, of course, and scenery there, that's Liverpool, of course. And it will be back on our screens for the first time in almost 20 years. We'll be talking to two of the show's well-known stars. But first, let's take a look at one of the show's first memorable moments.
Hetty, what the hell are you doing now?
Keep it down, love. Sinbad's got something stashed down here. Aye, aye. Looks like we've struck gold. Nice one.
It could be anything. Look, don't get involved, Dad.
Come on, pull it up. Ah! What?
Hetty!
What is it? It's a hand.
We're joined now by Dean Sullivan, who played Jimmy Corkill,
The drama.
and Lewis Emerick, who
drama.
played Mick Johnson. Good morning. I loved watching both of you there, glued.
Yeah.
You were absolutely
Well, I wasn't
glued.
in that, so I was just interested to see it.
Had you not seen it before?
No,
It's one of the
no.
most famous kind of scenes.
No.
Yeah. The interesting thing was when the producers or Phil came up with the idea of having a body under the patio, which was the culmination of the domestic abuse storyline. We always did very realistic storylines. He decided that body would be under that patio for 2 years. So the viewers always knew it was there, and one day it was going to come to the surface, and that's what happened.
Oh, very good storytelling. Very good.
Yeah.
Now, there'll be people watching this morning for whom Brookside doesn't mean much. There will be people, depending on what age you are and what you're doing at the time. But it did really change the idea of a soap opera, didn't it? Because we were used to the Emmerdales or the Coronation Streets, and then Brookside came.
All made in studios generally.
Yeah.
Like this,
What was it that made it so different?
Well, because it was very real.
Yes.
Wasn't it? We used
And
a
it
lot
was-
of natural lights rather than
And
studio
it was
work.
location, so the stuff was out in the cities or wherever it was out there. So it didn't have that. It had that touch of realism. I think
Yeah.
that was completely different in soaps. at
Changed the
time.
face of British TV, British soaps, definitely, without a doubt.
What I think really worked with Brookside as well is a lot of soaps like those big impact stories, and they kind of smack you around the head really, really quickly. Whereas Brookside tended, like with your character particularly, and you kind of entered, and it just seen as an everyday person in the close, and then the racism lines came in.
Yeah,
And
well-
so it wasn't like you were in as a black
Exactly,
person, and
exactly.
let's watch the
Yeah,
black
and let's-
person,
let's
and
see
let's
that.
see what happens.
And I say great props to Phil Redman and Mal Young for that, because what they did with that is they had making, I think it was about 2 years before any real race story started. So the audience got to know Mick as a person. He was a single dad trying to bring up 2 kids, and the juggling that takes, bring them from school, get somebody to mind him. He was just a guy who happened to be black, he was just trying to get on with his life, do the best he could. So by the time the race story came, the audience cared for him.
Yeah.
They got to know this guy, and they really got. And there was a lovely little story. I was in the city one time, and the story was this right-wing group that were trying to, doing the racial stuff on Mick. And I was walking through town as I crossed the road, and I crossed this old lady, and she went, "All right, lad, we're not all like that,
Oh.
It was just a lovely little story, a little thing. But it's because they cared for him, and that was what Phil
And as
Mal
Lewis
did so well.
preferred there, our storylines weren't just for a couple of episodes or so.
Yeah.
They went on. I had 2 big storylines. One was drug abuse, and one was the mental health issues that he had. But they ran for years, and even when, with say the mental health issues, even when it was not mentioned in the script, I would still play that as an actor because he was diagnosed with bipolar. And if you're diagnosed with bipolar, you've got it for life. You can be on medication, but it's always there. So that was another groundbreaking thing that we did. Our storylines were always grounded in realism, and they ran for a long time, and then they showed how those affected not just the individual, but maybe a whole family, maybe the whole close I mean, we did a storyline where a virus broke out on the Close, yeah? And this was all those years ago, and the press was saying, this is ridiculous, where are they getting these storylines from? A virus, you know, and we put a cordon up so that people couldn't come into the Close. Well, talk about art reflecting reality.
You know,
Now, so the cast, the original cast, I mean, people who were in that have done incredible things since there was an amazing talent pool, wasn't
Yes,
there?
absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people cut their teeth there. It was a training ground for many, many people. And not just on the acting side, on the crew side as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people were given their first opportunity to work on a television programme right there at Brookside.
because of a single camera.
Look at that fella there. What's that look saying? What's going on there?
Well, he was thinking I'll be back, but he finished 2 years after.
These shots from the day, I'm seeing the shot that we saw the shoulder pads in the previous thing. Do you think it will stand the test of time? I mean, it'll be very interesting. Some people will watch it for nostalgia, won't they?
Yeah.
They'll remember what they were doing, and it'll be lovely. Other people will come to it afresh.
Time, you know, right at the very beginning, Brookside was dealing with issues to do with the unions and people going on strike. That was from day one when it first started. Well, look what's
40
happening
years
now.
later, look what's happening now.
So it's very relevant.
I think it's a chance for obviously people that went around and at a certain age don't remember it. There's a look back at Britain then, because I always think that Brookie was an extension of Boys from the Black stuff, where that kind of finished. You know, we started in '82, and times in the north, and particularly Liverpool, were bleak. And I think, you know, it reflected that, you know.
The Close now is houses, which was the set, houses lived in by everyday people, right? Did you steal anything from the set for nostalgia? And what was it?
I've got a few jackets at home that I
Have
like.
you?
Well,
You still wear them?
Jimmy was known for wearing double denim. So
Which cut is back in fashion?
Way ahead of your
Triple,
time.
quadruple.
and the wardrobe department actually gave me the jacket, so I've still got that. And also the design guys gave me. Jimmy had, which was in part of the storyline, he'd had a picture of his dog blown up, and it was in an awful bad taste gold gilded frame, and they presented that to me. When I've still got that. It's in the loft, but I've still got it.
When I saw the picture of you, the shot we saw, that sequence we saw with the grave earlier on, and that leather jacket, I absolutely remember you wearing that jacket.
Really? Yes. Well, I remember as well that I had a conversation with Phil Redmond, who created Brookside, and I said, you know, Jimmy's on the wrong side of the law. Could he not have actually pinched something a bit better to wear, like a leather jacket? He went, oh, yes, I'll do that. And he introduced this horrible fringed cowboy-style jacket as a joke before I got that real leather one. So,
well, do you know what? It's lovely seeing you both here again, and a lot of people will be very tickled that it's coming back. And a lot of people, as you say, are going to see it for the first time.
And they'll see it if they download the app, STV Player.
STV Player.
And you can download it on your phone or your laptop. There are all the episodes streaming.
Well, 2,915, I think there were, and I think they've dropped 10, and then there are 5 every week. So you don't have to be overwhelmed by it.
We won't be in for a while yet.
Yeah, I've
we
got a
didn't
few
come in.
years.
We're not
Yeah.
at the
They
beginning.
can build up
But
to
we-
you.
yes,
You're
we'll be
worth
there
waiting
eventually.
for.
The good stuff comes later.
Yeah,
Watching, yes.
Worth it.
Dean, Lewis, thank you both so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We have the headlines coming up in just a moment.